Eliezer, my most trusted servant, listen carefully to my words. I am now 130 years and will soon be gathered to my people. And yet my son Isaac has no wife. Place your hand under my thigh and promise that you will not find a wife for Isaac among the people of Canaan. Rather, go back to my own country and my own people, and there find a wife for my son. I will travel this great distance, my lord, but what if the woman is unwilling to come? Shall I take your son back to this country? No, God promised on oath to give me and my descendants this land. He will send his angel before you. If the woman is unwilling to come, then you are free from this oath. The journey to return to Abraham's home country of Mesopotamia was a distance of 450 miles, but the servant set out, believing and trusting in God's direction and plan. God of my master Abraham, grant me success today.
After a long journey, Abraham's servant finally arrived to find it was just an ordinary day at the watering hole.
Hey, get back here! Stop running!
Oof!
Let it be that when I say to a girl, please let down your jar that I might have a drink, that she replies, drink, and I will also water your camels. Then I will know that you have shown kindness to your servant Abraham. Please, may I have some water from your jar?
Drink, my lord, and I will draw water for your camels too.
God of Abraham, truly you have answered our prayers. Tell me, whose daughter are you? Is there room that we might stay at your father's house tonight?
I am the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, whom she bore to Nahor.
Oh my!
Praise be to the Lord, the God of my master Abraham. You have led me right to the house of my master's relatives. Nahor was the brother of Abraham, so Rebekah and Isaac were cousins.
Mother, you won't believe this. A man has come from our father's brother Abraham. He has come to find a wife for his son.
What?
He gave me these. He says that our uncle has been blessed by God.
I am Laban, brother of the young woman with whom you spoke. We have prepared a place for you, and your camels will be well provided for. See, a great feast is already being prepared for you. No food will touch my lips until I have told you what I have come to say. By all means, speak. God has blessed my master Abraham. He has sheep, cattle, silver, gold, camels, donkeys, and servants in abundance. But one thing he is lacking. His son Isaac, born to him in his old age, has no wife. He made me swear an oath to get a wife from his own people. That is why I have traveled this great distance. He said, the Lord, before whom I have walked, will give your journey success. I asked God that the one he had chosen would say, here, drink, and I will also water your camels. Now, if you are going to show kindness to my master, tell me. If not, tell me which way to turn. This is from the Lord. My daughter Rebekah may leave with you to become the wife of your master's son. The name of the Lord be praised for giving my master Abraham success.
Eliezer and the servants brought out costly gifts to Rebekah and her family.
Ah, now we will eat, and we will spend the night in your home. The next morning, I must be on my way, the journey is long. I'll let her remain 10 days or so, then she may freely go. Do not detain me now that the Lord has given me success. We will call the girl and ask her about it. Are you ready to go so soon, before we can all give you our farewells?
I'll go with him to my husband.
May you increase to thousands upon thousands. May your offspring possess the gates of their enemies.
You will not be alone. Your attendants will accompany you.
So Eliezer began to return to his master Abraham and to Isaac. One day, Isaac went out into the field to meditate. He looked up to see the caravan of Eliezer returning, and with it, a young woman.
Behold Isaac, the son of my master Abraham.
Rebekah covered her face with a veil. As Eliezer relayed to Isaac all that God had done, God's plan for Israel and the line of Messiah continued. Isaac loved Rebekah and was greatly comforted after the death of his mother. Abraham took another wife named Keturah after the death of Sarah, and she bore him other sons. But he sent these and the sons of his concubines away with gifts while he was still living, so that he could leave all that he had to Isaac.
Eliezer, our master Abraham, he is dead.
Abraham died at 175 years of age, and his sons Isaac and Ishmael buried him. They took him to the cave of Machpelah so he would be buried with Sarah. As God had promised Abraham, Ishmael had 12 sons who were tribal rulers. They became the forebearers of the Arab people of today. And God blessed Isaac and was with him.
Every major event in world history, every major figure in world history appears to be encoded in the Bible.
Imagine a text so complex that within its age-old pages, it contains an intricate, unseen design of hidden codes and secrets. These secrets are not just about events of the distant past, but also about the present, the future, and astonishingly, about our individual lives. This isn't the plot of a cryptic thriller novel, but a theory surrounding one of the world's most wildly read books, the Bible. Proponents of the Bible code theory propose that encoded within the Bible's original Hebrew texts lie detailed messages and prophecies that can be unlocked through a particular decoding method. But could it be true? Could the ancient texts really hold detailed prophecies of historical events? Do they whisper the trajectories of our personal lives, our births, and our deaths? We'll try to find out together in the new episode of Secret Origins. Welcome. For thousands of years, profound thinkers, spiritual teachers, and visionaries have cherished a unique, enigmatic document that is believed to hold the outcomes of all potential decisions we could ever make in our lives. In September 1994, Isaac Rabin, the then Prime Minister of Israel, was delivered a creepy message warning him of a threat to his life. The warning originated from an unexpected source. It claimed to be based on a hidden code within the Bible. The cautionary message, however, was dismissed. A year later, the Prime Minister met a tragic end. He was assassinated. The shocking fact is that the secret code within the Bible had only forecasted Rabin's assassination, but also precisely indicated the date and even the name of the assassin. It turns out that the encoded within the ancient text of the Bible, written millennia ago, are forecasts of every significant global event, encompassing even the alarming events that are yet to happen. This is now known as the Bible Code. So what exactly is the Bible Code? An 18th century scholar known as the Genius of Vilna said, "The rule is that all that was, all that is, and all that will be until the end of time is included in the Torah, from the first word to the last." But how it is possible that such events can be predicted thousands of years ago? The three primary religions that worship the God of Abraham, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, encompass more than half of the global population, an approximate total of over 4 billion people. Since their inception, followers have sought to extract meaning and answers from their respective religious texts. This has typically been done through the interpretation of symbolism and allegory. However, a new wave of computer scientists and mathematicians have discovered concrete information encoded in the Old Testament. The Old Testament, written about 3,000 years ago, originates from the 24 books of the Hebrew Bible. Despite being one of the most ancient texts, its contents have remained consistent over millennia. When scribes replicated the Old Testament, even a single mistake necessitated the burial of the entire transcript. But why was such precision necessary? The conventional belief is that any alteration of God's words would be regarded as blasphemy. Yet, there might be a more technical, rational, that hidden within the text are cryptic messages from God or another entity. In the late 13th century, Rabbi Bahaya ben Asher unveiled a code concealed within the book of Genesis. The method he used was simple. He selected 4 letters, then skipped 42 letters before selecting another 4, and so on. When these chosen letters were connected, they formed a new passage depicting the creation of the moon. This string of letters also stated that the lunar month precisely spanned 29.53 days. This was a remarkable revelation considering the exact length of the lunar month wasn't calculated until 1996 by none other than NASA. But how was it possible? The concept of a equidistant letter sequence, or ELS, also known as a skip code, was reintroduced in the 1940s by Rabbi HMD Weiss Mandel, resurrected Rabbi Ben Asher's work showing that by selecting a letter or a group of letters, skipping a specific number of letters, and repeating this process, new words could be formed. This process was initially arduous and time-consuming, but the advent of computers simplified the process exponentially. Later on, computer programs improved on the skip code technique by implementing more complex search parameters. They took the letters discovered via the skip codes and formed long strings of text, which could then be divided into lines of varying lengths. This allowed new messages to be discovered by searching the text horizontally, vertically, and diagonally, much like a word search puzzle. In 1985, mathematicians Elijah Rips, Doran Whitsom, and Yoav Rosenberg leveraged this technique in a series of tests named the Great Rabbis Experiment. They compiled a list of 34 famous rabbis, encyclopedia of great men in Israel, and input these names into their program to decipher if they were encoded in the Bible. This astonishing discovery was that all these names, despite the fact that these men lived hundreds or even thousands of years after the Bible was written, were encoded within the Bible. They input the names of renowned rabbis into their computer program, which was then instructed to sift through various skip codes and grid size in search of these names. Once a match was identified, the program searched horizontally, vertically, and diagonally for dates that intersected with the names, which were then cross-referenced with the known birth and death dates of each rabbi. The results of this experiment were shocking. Not only were all the names of the rabbis found encoded within the Bible, but their birth and death dates were also discovered intersecting the names. In the end, they found the names of a total of 166 men encoded in the Bible, a phenomenon that occurred thousands of years before any of these men were born. Dr. Rips estimated the odds of this happening by chance at around 1 in 10 million. The undeniable conclusion was that the Torah codes were a real phenomenon, not merely coincidental. The trio published the results of their groundbreaking study in the peer-reviewed journal Statistical Science. The study stirred controversy, with several experts trying to find an error, yet no one could refute their findings. But could this information be random? Could it be encoded in other documents? They tested the Bible code in several other books, including Webster's Dictionary, huge novels like the book War and Peace, the book Moby Dick, and all of these other texts. The codes do not work the way they do in the Torah. The intrigue deepened when this theory was retested in a rigorous 440-hour experiment in 1997. Unlike the original study conducted by mathematicians, this time the research was led by a former senior cryptologic mathematician for the US National Security Agency, Harold Gans. Motivated to debunk the Bible code, Gans created his own computer program. However, the results surprised him. His program not only identified the names of the rabbis and their birth and death dates within the Bible, but it also pinpointed their places of birth and death. In his resulting paper, Gans concluded that the findings were statistically more than significant. These weren't accidental discoveries. There were indeed a code embedded within the Torah, specifically in the first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible, a code uniquely present nowhere else. In a similar way, in 1990, Dr. Rips found himself intrigued by a novel idea. His previous research had successfully identified information about rabbis who had lived centuries prior. Still, he started to wonder, could the Bible hold encoded information about people who were still alive as of 1990? During the early 90s, Saddam Hussein was an internationally recognized figure. Intrigued, Dr. Rips decided to enter the Iraq leader's name into his program, curious to see if he could be located within the encoded patterns of the Bible. Remarkably, Hussein's name emerged from the code. Even more astonishingly, the code predicted that he would instigate an attack on Israel within the span of 3 weeks. As foreseen by the Bible code, Hussein did indeed initiate an attack. The program revealed more fascinating connections. For example, when the encoded sequence spelling President Kennedy was examined, the succeeding letters in the same skip sequence revealed the words "to die," with Dallas encrypted in the vicinity. Similarly, when Shakespeare was searched for, the following words in the equal distance sequence read, "will present place on stage," within the names Hamlet and Macbeth encrypted in the same segment. In 1992, an American investigative journalist named Michael Drosnin was working on a story about conflict in the Middle East. While in Israel, he came across Dr. Rips' research. Drosnin, who was a non-believer, was initially skeptical about the notion of divinely encrypted messages within the Bible. However, the story intrigued him enough to explore further. His initial meeting with Dr. Rips, scheduled for just an hour, ended up extending as Drosnin was drawn into the fascinating world of the Bible code. Over the next few years, Drosnin collaborated with Dr. Rips to decode over 1,000 historical events concealed in the Old Testament. For example, in the book of Genesis, where God instructs Abraham to look now toward heaven and count the stars, the encoded passage revealed the date July 20th, 1969, and the words like spaceship and Apollo 11. Encoded phrases such as economic crisis, depression, stocks, and the year 1922 were found to intersect. The word Oklahoma was found intersecting with Murrah, the building targeted in the Oklahoma City bombing, along with the phrase "his name was Timothy." In May 1994, the Shoemaker-Levy comet was a hot topic in news outlets worldwide. The scientific community was speculating about its potential collision with Jupiter. Intrigued by this, Drosnin ran a search in the Bible code. Remarkably, he discovered the exact term Shoemaker-Levy intersected with will-bound Jupiter. Moreover, the precise date of the impact, July 16, 1994, crossed this phrase. The same year, Drosnin turned his attention to Yitzhak Rabin, Israel's prime minister. Again, the code yielded intriguing results. Rabin's name appeared intersected by the ominous phrase "assassin will assassinate." The Hebrew date 5756 crossed the phrase "a date looming just months away." In Hebrew, numbers can also signify words. In this context, 5756 could be translated as "will you change it?" Drosnin interpreted this as a possible indication that he could intervene to prevent the prophecy from being fulfilled. Determined to do his part, he sent a warning to the prime minister. Unfortunately, Rabin dismissed the warning, and tragically, a year later, he was assassinated, just as the Bible code had indicated. The coded information in the Torah seems to adhere to the rule conceptualized by mathematician Werner Heisenberg in his uncertainty principle. This principle was then summarized by a renowned physicist, Stephen Hawking, who stated, "Quantum mechanics does not predict a single definite result for an observation. Instead, it predicts a number of different possible outcomes and tells us how likely each of these outcomes is." It seems this is how the Bible code operates. It doesn't necessarily predict a fixed future, but when asked a specific question, it reveals a range of potential outcomes. There's growing suspicion that this phenomenon could be a form of a quantum code. But the thing is that this is only possible with the Torah. But why exactly with it and not with any other book? The Torah consists of the initial 5 books of the Hebrew Bible: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. They're also the first 5 books of the Old Testament in the Christian Bible. Interestingly, there is something distinct that sets these initial 5 books apart. For example, their origin is largely shrouded in mystery, with much of what we know is based on legend, historical records, and speculation. Tradition holds that these 5 books, collectively referred to as the Torah, were received as unified document in Mount Sinai in Egypt. In the original versions of the Torah, the alphabet primarily used is Hebrew. Intriguingly, every letter of the Hebrew alphabet has been associated with a particular number, the origin of which remains mysterious. When dealing with the Bible code, these Hebrew letters are transformed into their corresponding numeric values, replacing the visual perception of letters on a page with a series of numbers. The process entails stripping away all spaces and punctuation reminiscent of the believed original presentation of the Torah when it was delivered to Earth roughly 3,000 years ago. This leaves us with an uninterpreted sequence of numbers forming an array or a matrix comprising exactly 3,004,805 numbers that can be propped and curated in different ways by a computer. This letter matrix is known as a dynamic matrix, and it's able to adjust based on the queries it's subjected to. Initially, it begins with 64 rows, each containing 4,772 numbers. However, as we start querying this matrix, its rows and columns can be dynamically realigned to suit the query. The way this matrix is probed aligns with the principles outlined in the scientific paper, primarily using ELS searches, or what is more casually known as skip codes, which we mentioned earlier in this video. These skip codes entail starting with a specific letter within the Torah and counting a certain numbers of letters to find the next significant letter in the sequence. Consider, for example, a skip code of 50 applied to the book of Genesis, which start with the first Hebrew letter of Genesis. Bear in mind, this code only works with Hebrew letters, not translations, and count 50 letters or numbers, considering our conversation forward. Doing so leads to the letter T followed by O, R, H, when skipping 50 more letters each time, with vowels omitted in Hebrew. These letters form the word Torah. This is a simple example of how these skip codes function. According to Greg Braden, a best-selling author and researcher in the fields of spirituality and human potential, the beauty of understanding these Torah codes lies in the insight they offer into the tapestry of possibilities within our existence, as dictated by the divine matrix. We, as part of this intricate weave of time, are subject to its rules and laws until we come to understand them. Our biology even allows us to hack time, enabling us to expedite certain processes such as healing or fostering peace. Unlocking these mysteries enables us to comprehend and tell a new human story, one that speaks of our relationship with the underlying matrix of reality. Whether it's major world events or the minutiae of daily life, everything we experience is encompassed within the possibilities already encoded into this ancient temporal map, the Bible Code. So in exploring this incredible concept of the Bible Code, we unravel a fascinating layer of complexity within our universe. We find that reality, time, and even our personal destinies can be found in ways that challenge traditional perspectives. The code hidden in ancient texts stirs our curiosity and urges us to seek understanding of this intricate matrix. Our ability to interpret and interact with this coded information may well determine our future trajectory as individuals and as species. We bow before you and thank you for watching another episode of Secret Origins. Keep your minds open, and until we meet again.